And we're back for another show, and we're early. Haha. And Shane and Kevin are here, main culprits there. How's it, guys? Good to see you again. Let's get started with the show. Let's see what we got. Let me move my face out the way here. What a week, eh? Wow. Everything got taken out. Can you believe it? Absolutely everything. Look at our Brent crude oil trade. Wow, getting wiped out here as well. The US 500 wiped out. Here's our history, guys. Germany 30, Shane's trade. How's it, Carl? $199 loss. Didn't work out to 250 at least because there was a trailing on it. US 500, $150 loss on a trailing stop. Euro US dollar, $90 profit. Yeah, at least it's not the end of the world, eh? And now we've got Brent crude oil, which is just falling out the bottom here. I mean, it's insane, actually. Crazy stuff. This morning I called Euro US dollar long, but I went outside and came back and it was already up there, so I'm waiting for it to retest. Maybe we can get another shot at that. The double act, oh, there you are. You guys are the double act. That's for sure. Right, so we're on the ball. We're here. We're getting going. What an interesting week, eh? You know, it's actually been an interesting year. No sound. Can you hear me, Kevin? I just want to see if it's just Shane or if it's everyone that's got no sound, because the sound is on. Let's just check if it's only one or if it's everyone. Yeah, so Kevin can hear me. Shane, just check your side. Perhaps something going on there. Maybe just restart YouTube or something. Okay, let me just write that here because Shane can't hear me. Kevin can hear me. Me. Spell the M. Okay, not very good at typing, yeah? Oops. Okay, let me just press that. Okay. Stream settings, yeah. Stream health. Good. Okay, that looks fine. Everything looks fine there. It all seems to be fine on my side. Maybe just make sure on your side there, Shane. Just check what's going on. Mind you can't hear me, eh? That's like, yeah, weird stuff, yeah. Okay. But yeah. Not sure what's going on. But yeah, Brent is kind of going against us, eh? As well. Everything's gone against us this week. Oh, yeah, it's gone into the support. It's kind of a bit late to stop loss. I'm just going to leave it and see what it does. What can you do, you know? See if it turns around. These things normally blow over. I've seen hundreds of these things happen in the past, and generally they tend to blow over, guys. You know, they tend to blow away, as they say, and then it's a good opportunity if you're investing to get in. Good opportunity to buy stuff, and it's always an excellent opportunity to get in. The US 500, I thought I'd got in at the right time. I thought, oh, yeah, you should go in here, get in, and we're going to make it now because 5,500 had crossed. I knew that it might go to 52, but I thought, oh, well, it's going up, let's get in. And it fooled me. So it's come down, take out a stop loss, and we lost 149. Okay, that's not, no, considering we have a 250 stop loss set, that trailing stop didn't do too bad. But that said, guys, it's been an interesting time. You know, this whole business of tariffs and all this stuff, it's not normal. And of course, this time of the year, there's a lot of money flowing around as well. You know, there's an old adage in the markets around next month, though, not for April. It's normally May. Sell in May and go away. We used to always say that. Yeah, so there's a good chance of that still. So we might have a bit of a rough time, but I'm not too worried. This is a great opportunity. If this drops to 5,200, marvelous opportunity, I think, to get in. Yeah, Carl can hear me as well. The US markets haven't happened yet. What will happen with it? Kevin, I don't have a crystal ball. Jeez, man, I don't have I can't predict the future. I don't know. But yeah, it all depends on the emotions. It all depends on how people feel. It all depends on what people are thinking about this whole story. And it's very temporary. It's a very temporary sort of situation. While there could be a lot of permanency to the whole economy and what have you, but the whole situation in the market is usually very temporary, and it'll work itself through. It always does. It always works itself out, and people start forgetting about it and moving on to the next thing or the next big thing, whatever that might be. Generally, that's what happens, guys. It's generally what happens. This thing's messing me around today. I must really get a better one. Anyway, I wasn't that clever when I was buying my equipment and stuff like that at YouTube, so I'll get better at it. But yeah, no, these things, no, I've seen them 100 times before. They blow over, and they blow over really quickly, and you'll be surprised how the effect of this has got a lot to do with the actual money flow in America more than anything else as well. There's been a lot of money moving around and that sort of stuff, paying the army and paying this, that, and the other, and what have you. So money flows cause this just as much as emotions. But emotions, as we all know, there are traders in the market. There are real human beings in the market. How many times have I got to say it? Real human beings in the market. You're not trading against lines. You're not trading against squiggly lines. You're trading against real human beings, or with real human beings. People who want to buy and sell, and it's a market. That's what it is. It's a market. And that's why we have risk management, just to make sure that we don't get completely destroyed. Aha! Perhaps it's your headphones more than anything else. Just check your headphones sometimes, you know. Yeah, I actually found a set of headphones lying over there on my desk. Amazingly enough, Bluetooth headphones that I haven't used for a while. Could be the Bluetooth or something like that, or whatever the connection. I don't use them anymore. Hi, Elaine. Long time no see. Trade the gap. Hi, Elaine. Do you mind looking at gold's recent movements? No, of course not. We'll look at gold's recent movements. We're looking at Brent's recent movements. I'm kind of hoping this is going to go back up and, close that gap and give us all our money back, so to speak. So I'm staying in the trade. Yeah, we'll stay in the Brent trade for a while, and let's see what happens. Hopefully that line doesn't go all the way down here and take out our stop loss, because that's like just insane. Okay, where's gold? Gold. Aha! Well, there's a lot of people been waiting for this. And it's doing something similar to Brent. It's collapsing, probably based on, let me just see what the Dixie is doing quickly. Do that, I need to go, you won't see it, I'm just going to go and have a look quickly, guys. The Dixie, well, it's moving around a lot. US dollar, yeah, might have something to do with that as well. Euro US dollar, big moves. Gold is pegged against the dollar, so yeah. So there's a lot of movement here, and at the same time there's a lot of movement on Brent, so probably the same thing. Will gold fall through this? Difficult to say, but if it does, a lot of people are waiting for this gold to fall. A lot of people are waiting for this gold to fall hard. And if it falls hard, I don't see it going much past 28.25, 28.50. It might, but a lot of people are expecting it to go all the way back down to the thousands. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it does. Some of us are expecting it to go to 5,000. Who knows? But gold has been moving hard. It's been moving, and I just trade what I see. What I see here, guys, factually, is it's come down and it's hit the trend support. It's hit the trend support hard. Will it break through it? We'll have to wait and see. If you get a green bar coming off of this trend support, then we've got it moving back to the upside. It's very similar to the oil trade in the sense that we also have here a demand of money lying here. There's a good chance that it can bounce up here, but if it breaks through here, we're heading down to the 3,000 again on gold, let's say. And well, very similar to Brent. We've come down into our support. We actually broke through that level there. Now there's another level of money here that it's breaking through, and it's breaking, and there's another level of money down here at 70. So 70 is the big number, and then we've got our stop loss at 69. It's quite an insane amount of moves at the moment. Bit tired of getting stopped out this week, but yeah, it's been one of those weeks, and I guess it's got a lot to do with what's being said in the markets, and there's nothing you can do about that. These news events are gonna affect you this way. The emotions are running high, everybody's selling out, and the more these red lines, or the longer these red lines get, red candles, let's say, the longer these red candles get, the more people sell out, because the market holds on longer than people can hold on. So the longer the line gets, the more people get out. And that's just how it goes. This is a time when you should be getting excited, guys. This is an exciting time. This is a moment. For example, Kevin, you're not in any trades at the moment. Perfect. You're absolutely perfect. The only trade that I've got on anywhere is the Brent. So I'm okay with that as well. Even on the other side, I'm okay. I do have a lot of investments, of course. But my investments, strangely enough, they're all still in profit. They're all still doing well. They're all still doing great. So I'm not concerned about that. Whichever index I'm on, they're all in profit. So I don't even get concerned about my investments. But that said, it's unfair because my investments have been around for a long time. So of course they're going to be showing green. It's going to take a lot for them to go into the red. But on the trading side, at the moment, I've only got Brent on all sides, and I'm just holding on to see what's going to happen with it. It's not looking great, is it? Sometimes I hold on too long. Well, we'll see. We'll see how she goes. But it's a good time. It's an exciting time. It's a time when you can actually get some trades. It's a time when you can actually find some new investments. And I can't wait to load up some new money into some new shares and whatnot, or existing ones. Just add to what we've got and see how we go. Look at Tesla. Tesla's had a nice big fall. Might be worth a look at some stage. I know there's a lot of hype going on around it, but is it going bankrupt? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's well supported at the moment by everyone, by himself, the government, everyone. I don't think he's going bankrupt. Hi, David. Good to see you again. Gold 3054 buy from Shane. See here, Shane, she's just, she's breaking through that demand level. Let me just, Shane, this was your trade, Germany 30, remember? Minus $199.63. I'm just being careful about your trade here before we blow the account. Okay, now you know what I'm waiting for, Shane. I want to see what's going to happen here. I want to see if we get a green candle before we buy. Let's not just jump in, eh? It's had a big. That's actually on a 4-hour chart, that's a massive candle down. That's the same as Brent. It's a big ouch. Okay, so yeah, as well, that's a massive candle down on the 4-hour. Let's have a look at it on the day. Is it going to allow me to look at the day? Come on. On the day, whoo, what a big candle for the day chart as well. So now, guys, that's a massive candle. So I'm not just going to jump into any buys on that just yet. You can blame Trump, Shane. It's okay. We can all blame him. It's fine. Let's blame Trump for the terrible week that we've had, for the insane week that we've had. It's not to say that we shouldn't have expected it. I mean, that's yeah. That's why the system and the strategy is different. That's why we have a strategy. That's why we have risk management, because otherwise you'd all be broke completely. Your accounts get wiped out because of these types of things. The guys that do well in this particular sort of time or this particular sort of moment are the guys that are scalping, guys that are taking quick money, guys that are getting in 5 minutes, getting out. Those guys might do okay if they pick the right side of the trade, of course, because you could quite easily pick the wrong side, and you can imagine the length of that candle on a short time frame. But if you pick the right side, you'll be okay most likely. You're probably a lot of them will probably be boasting on YouTube about how they made, I don't know, $1 million in 5 minutes or whatever the case because they took a trade. And, you know, yeah, it's kind of 50-50. You take a trade and it goes the right way when Donald Trump's saying something because you pick the right direction for whatever reason. And yeah, it's easy to make that kind of money. It's a bit like crypto as well. Yeah, same sort of thing. But when it goes wrong, whoo-ha, painful. No. Yeah. Not all market corrections are equal. Not all market corrections are equal. Sometimes they change. Sometimes they're a little bit different. Some are more than others. Some are better than others. Yeah, no, you know what, Kevin? Last night I actually, for me, it was nighttime. For you as well, most likely, only an hour difference. And I kind of looked on my phone and I thought, trades look okay. Even the DAX was in profit, I think. It was looking okay, and I thought, it'll be fine. And I actually woke up this morning with the stop losses were taken out. And I was like, really? What happened while I was asleep, man? Oh, goodness. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. You sent an email on gold. Let's have a look then. Let's have a look. Let me see if I can find it. Email. There we go. I better not sing because you guys will get rid of me. That's for sure. No, the wife hates it when I sing. There we go. Shane, gold. Let's have a look at Shane's gold. Gold. Okay, so we've got gold here. And you're looking... Yeah, I see you on the fib. You're in the right spot. You're in the golden zone. You're looking at the gold in the golden zone here. I see what you're doing. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And it's exactly in this spot as well. What we're waiting for, Shane, is I'm just looking at your chart and our chart here at the same time. This one's moving. What I would say is, yeah, it's in the right zone, but don't take a trade don't catch a falling knife, okay? It's still going down. Wait for it to turn around. Wait for it to give you a green candle and then take the trade. I don't know if you want to take it on a lower time frame. Let me just make the chart bigger. You know, if you want to drop down the time frames, even even on the lower time frames, you got serious red. It's a falling knife. So you really do need to rather wait for a green candle somewhere, whichever time frame you want to take, and then take the trade. Because at the moment it's still downwards. But yeah, you're in the right spot. It's the right spot to be looking in. And we're all actually, if you think about it, we're all looking in that spot. So that the spot is correct. There's nothing wrong with the spot. Even here, the spot's correct. It's just, we're just waiting for it to turn around. That's all. Okay. Blame Trump. The traders took... You know, Eugene, the trades didn't take a dump well before he spoke. They were actually in profit. They were actually looking very good before he spoke. And I think Kevin and Shane will agree that I think DAX, for example, was up at, yeah, it was up at, oh, this is not DAX. DAX was up at 226. It was doing pretty well. It was quite a fine level, and then it fell down. So no, it was doing okay. It was doing fine, and then he spoke, and it went flying down. But yeah, I'm not blaming him. It's not his fault. You know, you take the trades as you see them, and if they don't work out, so be it. That's how it goes. Wait for the green candle at least. Yeah, I just realized that there is still 3 hours on the 4-hour candle. Yeah, look, it's you've got to wait for it to turn around. You can't just grab it. You know, you're catching a falling knife there. It's not going to work out. Could continue on to the downside and go flying down. On this particular thing, it's on 15 minutes for the green candle. So let's see how we go. Yeah, I know. So at the end of the day, it's also not all Trump's fault that these things happen. Like I said, there's a lot of money flow at this time of the year, this time of the month, and that can cause a lot of things. But this is a lot of emotion. There's a lot of this is emotion more than anything else. Like I tell you guys, market's 50-50. You know, I'm not here. I can't trade for you guys. I can't, tell you how to figure out which trade to take, and any signals that I give out are just a guideline, and it just helps you determine whether you thinking along the same pattern line, and you figure out your own trades at the end of the day, and you figure out how you're doing. You know, I'm not sitting here telling you take that trade or doing your analysis for you. I'm just giving you an idea of how you can take the analysis and how you can organize the analysis for yourself. And then the strategy as well. You can use the strategy to suit yourself. And obviously, you can manipulate and change these systems and strategies to suit yourself with whatever information you get from other traders, whatever information you get from elsewhere that you can sort of fit into your own game as well. So just remember that, guys. Don't just see something that I do and copy it. Don't ever do that, because you can't copy another trader. Nobody can do that. That's not you can't copy anyone in the market. You can get ideas, you can use the systems, you can follow through, and you can work together, and you can put something together that works well for you. Shane's a very good example of that here, where he's got his way of working, but he's working together with us at the same time and figuring it out. And that's kind of how it works. It's you don't copy it exactly, because no two traders trade alike, no matter what, at the end of the day. Shane, find us something to short and we'll go long on it. How's that? Yeah, no, yeah, we could be shorting everything, but I think everything's gone so far already that it's kind of questionable. There's a very good possibility that things could swing on us. The world does tend to overreact when people say things. Like I said, I've seen it all before, and it always works itself out, and it works itself out of the system. Now New Zealand dollar, US dollar goes to the stars. Yeah, wouldn't that be great? But now you're looking at a situation where it's kind of hitting resistance. And a lot of these trades, like Shane said, are we shorting anything today? New Zealand US dollar is hitting the resistance to the long side. And then you've got like our Brent crude oil trade, which is hitting support to the downside. And, a lot of these trades are hitting their levels. If they break through the levels, yeah, you can short them. If they break through the levels, you can go long as well. Like Euro US dollar, that earlier on I called it long, said to you guys I need to go long. I went out and came back and it was already there. But I would like to see a retest. I'd like to see it come back, give a retest, and give us another signal, and it's going to go up. And normally with a breakout, it's good to see a retest before you take the trade anyway. Although I do sometimes just on the green candle take the trade. But like I say, I was kind of out when this happened, and that's quite a long move. So when it does that and I haven't seen it, I'll sit back and wait, be patient, see if it comes back, gives me a retest, and then goes up again. That'll give us a nice trade. So trade of the day today was actually long Euro US dollar on this breakout. But like I say, now I'm hoping that we get some kind of a retest to get a better entry there. Ellie's here. How's it? Morning. Short trading oil. You see, Shane, you see when you say short trading oil, we're long on oil, like, for example, right? And we've been long on oil for a while now, and now we've taken a knock because this is the shoved to the downside, which is pretty much bad news for us. But look at this, just so that you know, Shane. Okay, the way we trade, we're not trading with fib here, we're trading with support and resistance. There's the resistance, there's the support. Now, for a long time, now the more times it hits, the more possibility it's got of going through. Accept that. But the mere fact that every time it hits this level, it goes up, and every time it hits that level, it comes down, means it's trading in that range. And it's been trading in that range for a very long time. If it breaks out of that range, then you've got a short. But if it stays in that range, it's kind of staying in that range. So be careful of calling that one. Because you're going short. Oh, what have I done? Okay. You're going short very much at the bottom of the trade, and your risk to reward is insanely bad. It could get all the way down here, and it could take out our stop loss, and we'll cry and oh, it's terrible and all that. But it's very much on the support as we stand at the moment, and this thing has been in a range for quite a while, and I would be careful shorting it right now. And there's a gap that it needs to fill. Let's let it go back and fill that gap as well. Yeah. Okay. I was driving while all the action was happening, sadly. Yeah, well, I was probably watching football or something. Anyway, that's fun. I might try and trade something, or I might also stay out until Monday. I'll see how things look like this afternoon. But it broke the trend, didn't it? Shane Zimmerman, it's a scalp. It really is a scalp if you take it. And just be aware that if you take that scalp, there's an insane chance that it's going to go against you. Okay? So, yeah. Because it's right at the bottom. If you wanted to take the scalp, you should have taken it up there. That would have been the scalp. But now it's really in the support level. You might be able to get a couple of points out of it. Don't know. You know, yeah, often when you try and take these scalps, if you're not well versed in it and you haven't really researched it, I know a lot of people say, oh, I made all this money in a few minutes. It's not actually a few minutes. There's a lot of research that goes into it before they take the trade. They might have spent hours working that trade out before they take it. And then they take the trade and it plays out in a few minutes and they take the profit. Because you really do have to be careful with scalping. It's not a gamble, eh? You have to be careful with it. And the minute you get in and you take that trade, you see what that just did? You get in at 70.40 and you say I'm short, and it jumps up to 70.60 in a matter of seconds. And if you're scalping, that's the kind of profits you're looking for, and that would have been a loss, okay, on the 5-minute chart. Just saying, be very careful. Make sure you've researched that trade deeply before you take the trade. This just swung around 20 points, 70.4 to 70.6 in seconds, right? That's what it would have done to you. Now it's even more. It's swinging around. Okay, so just be careful on these scalps, as you call them. They are dangerous. And like I said to you, I'm not here to give you the trades. You take the trades, guys. I just want, if I give you ideas or guide, it's just a guideline for you to work out if you're on the right track. And I'm trying to show you guys and make you guys competent at trading, so you can take your own trades and you do your own thing. You don't have to copy anybody or copy my trades or anybody else's for that matter. It's not something that I expect you to do in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Okay, so Ellie, you got to get some experience. And a lot of this has got a lot to do with feeling. Okay. What we've got, you've got to look at the big picture. Now, I don't trade on the news. I don't trade on fundamentals. I don't trade on that sort of thing. But we have a bigger picture. And the bigger picture says that the world's kind of in a bit of turmoil at the moment, and Donald's saying his thing, and all these things are happening in the background. So we know that things are bearish. And we know that the trend line broke, and we know that that's going down. But we also have a really, 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 really strong support here, which we got off the daily level. Where did we get this support from? We got it from a daily level. We got the support in here. We know that oil, in general, we know that oil trades between, at the moment, it's in a range trading between 82 and 69, 70, let's say. Okay, so 70 and 80. Just say 70 to 80. Okay, let's not make it a fine detail. You got support, you got resistance. In general, I know over time that oil in general trades between 65 and 105 at any given day, sometimes between 0 and 125, but in general between 65 and 105. And at the moment, it's trading between 70 and 80, okay? 82, whatever. Now, we know that, you see, you have to look at the wider aspect of things. So now we know that Brent has broken through a trend. Now, you could have taken that short, but we were long. You could have taken that short there if you wanted to, but it's very bad risk to reward because your risk is all the way up there and your reward is here. Very poor risk to reward. And also, why go short? Even though it's broken that trend, it has broken that trend, but it is now sitting on a major support level. You have to look at the normal support levels as well. You can't only look at the trends. You can't only look that it's broken that trend, so now it's going short. No, you have to look at the main support levels as well. Now it's sitting in that support level. Now you're waiting for a signal, maybe a green signal, that it's going to go back to the upside before you take any long trades, or a red signal. If it break out, it has to break through the support level before you can call it an actual short of any kind at the moment. So do be careful of that. Do be careful of just saying, oh, it's broken the trend, so, we have to go short now. No, you trade with a trend, that's correct. But if it breaks a trend, you look at the bigger picture. You've got to see a bigger picture here. You've got to see that there's a support. You've got to see that your risk to reward is better to the long side. You've got to see that this thing is trading in a range. We know it's trading in a range. It's trading in this range on a constant basis. We can see it clearly. Okay, I'm not going to draw that now because we need a better... Let me just put a different color on here and draw this for you there. It's trading in that range constantly. That's your range. So effectively, that's your trend. This is a short-term trend that I've drawn in here, that it's broken to the downside. I know it's broken out of the bullish trend. I know it's going down, but I also know that we're in that range. So I'm not going to be affected by that short-term trend. Okay, so just to put it in a nutshell, I know you wanted to look at Tesla, Ellie, but yeah, it's a bit difficult for me. I'll try go to the other platform and take it over and all the rest of it and show you and what have you quickly. But yeah, it's bearish at the moment. When it comes to shares, I am an investor. I do not trade shares anymore. I used to trade them way back when. You can trade them. It's actually very easy to trade them, much easier than indexes and Forex and things like that. And it's a much slower thing, so it's good to learn with shares. But from my perspective, I do not trade shares. I invest in them. I set and forget. I put them in the money in there and I just leave it there forever. So I don't really care where it is at any one point in time, except for the fact, like in Tesla at the moment, there's been a big correction and I'm thinking, maybe I should add to that because it's had a nice correction. And maybe I should put some more money into that because it might just go back to where it was. And I don't think the Oak's going to go bankrupt or anything like that. It looks fair. I might actually add to my investment, but that's about it, as far as Tesla goes. As far as looking at it as a trade, it's in the downtrend at the moment. It's bearish. You trade it down, but it's also a bit like this Brent crude. It's pretty much hitting its support. It's pretty much at the bottom. Yeah, okay, just watch out whether you are leveraged or whether you are buying shares on a one-to-one basis. So, for example, if you go and invest in shares on a one-to-one basis, in other words, you're not leveraged, okay? Just remember, if you're buying on a leveraged basis, for example, if you take $1,000 and you buy $10,000 worth of Tesla because you leveraged 10 to 1, 100 to 1, whatever, then if you lose 10%, you lose your whole investment. Whereas if you're buying on a one-to-one and you set and forget, that doesn't matter. If you lose $1, you lose $1. You don't lose $10 for every $1. That, just watch out if you're leveraged, how that works out, because if you have a big market correction, that can actually hurt you. And I noticed that Tesla did lose quite a lot of percentage, and if you're leveraged, that can actually take your account up. So I try not to invest in shares with leverage trading. I only invest in shares with one-to-one money. You've got $100,000, you buy $100,000 of stock. That's it. That's where it lives. End of story. And over time it grows. And then you're not worried about it, because worst case scenario is it goes to zero, which it shouldn't. Right. Okay, no bother. 24 hours to live. Oh no, 24 hours to live. No bother. 24 hours. I see what you mean by the name. Ali, maybe you should change the name. 24 hours to live. Woo. Tricky stuff, dude. Tricky stuff. Investing in an ETF is extremely easy. An exchange-traded fund is normally listed on the marketplace. Now, an exchange-traded fund would be, for example, I'll give you one on Satrix S&P 500, for example. Or an exchange-traded fund might offer you Bitcoin, or whatever the case, right? And it's normally offered on a platform like Easy Equities or any of these banks or whatever the case, or brokers and JP Morgan's, that they'll offer exchange-traded funds that you can invest in. They're not leveraged 9 times out of 10. You can get them as leveraged instruments on some brokers, but if you want to invest in them, don't invest leverage, just invest your money. And then it's exactly the same as investing in anything else. You just buy it and you hold it. And you want to, if it's futures, then futures expire. And then normally your broker will ask you if you want to carry it over or if you want to sell it out. And you can carry it over to the new futures or whatever the case. So, but I wouldn't buy it on futures. I'd buy the exchange-traded fund. Exchange-traded fund, you can buy it and own it, and you can keep it, and they'll roll it over for you. So there's no problem with that. But when it comes to investing, I prefer to invest in shares, actual shares, rather than the exchange-traded funds. You know, disclaimer: I do have, for example, S&P 500 ETF. So I'm, talking against myself here at the end of the day. But 99.5% of everything else is in shares. And the reason I take them in shares is because shares, I can split them up into different groups, for example. They're not in one pack. That if you invest in an ETF, they do that for you. Whereas what I do is I invest in each individual specific share. And if I see one that I don't like, I can always change it somewhere down the line to something else. As well as the fact that I get the dividends back off each and every company when they pay dividends and that sort of thing. So, and I can decide which company is good and which company is bad. Where exchange-traded funds give you a group of whatever they feel is in their pack or whatever the case. For example, S&P 500 will, a Satrix S&P 500, for example, will give you the S&P 500 shares, and that's it. You don't have a choice. You invested in that index. The reason I invest in that index is because I know that index is going to do well, and I know that index is going to pay out one day or another. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, there's no real need to really invest in exchange-traded funds. If you're with a broker, you should be able to invest in the shares as well. And I would rather invest in the shares than the exchange-traded funds, but you can. There's no problem. ETFs available everywhere. easy to find. Okay. Actually, Eugene, you're right. I need a frequently asked questions section. You're probably right. Yeah. I hear a lot about cryptos launching ETFs, which I don't understand. ETFs, exchange-traded funds, you get them for, they put them together so that you can buy them on the open market, so that you can buy the S&P 500 and invest in it, so that you can buy Bitcoin and invest in it, so that you can buy, it's a fund that they put together that you can go and buy through maybe BlackRock, maybe JP Morgan, maybe Easy Equity, maybe Purple Capital, whatever. You can buy an exchange-traded fund through them, and they'll hold it for you, and you can own it. And exchange-traded fund is basically a mirror image of, say, the S&P 500 or whatever the case. And then you can invest in it, and you can own it, and it's regulated, and you can own it forever. It's just another way of being able to own something on the market. For example, here you got leverage trading, and you can buy Brent crude oil, and you can buy gold or whatever the case, and whereas you could buy it as an investment in an exchange traded fund. It's a instrument that they've created so that the normal guy in the street can go and invest real money into it. Okay. It's not the cryptos that are launching ETFs. Just be careful. It's not crypto that's launching the ETF. It's the actual broker or bank or whatever the case that's launching the ETF based on that crypto, normally Bitcoin, for example. Okay, so the crypto itself is not launching the ETF. It's actually like JP Morgan's taking on Bitcoin, and they launch an ETF on Bitcoin that you can buy and invest in, and they cover it. Okay, so then kind of in that scenario. Okay, so that's quite interesting. Frequently asked questions section. I wish I could put one in, actually. That would be quite handy. There frequently are. But yeah, moments like this, over this last couple of days, where things have been noisy or whatever the case, don't get caught up in the moment. Don't get caught up in this, and don't let it affect you, and don't revenge trade it. Just let it happen and work your way through it, because they always work their way through the system. They always come out on the other side, and they normally okay. So yeah, it's all fine at the end of the day. Yeah, I see a lot of people get caught up in the moment. There was a time when I used to hang my hat on the news, like I said before, and it actually drove me insane. I would have sat and I would have watched that speech last night, and I would have spent my time doing that rather than spending it with my family or whatever the case. And I stopped all that, let it go. It's a whole lot of unnecessary rubbish at the end of the day. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Oh. So, Eugene, was it you that asked me about the thumbnail this morning or today or yesterday? I can't remember. You were a bit concerned that the thumbnail was misleading. Let me know. And then let me know what was misleading about it. And the information. We can talk about it. AUD CAD could break support. Let's have a look. $1 billion CAD. There's the AUD CAD. Yes, you did, Kevin. Cutting my thumbnails. Good idea. Yeah, there's the main support. There's the main resistance. Let's have a look at. there's a kind of support in the middle here, but it's been bearish. It's come down. It's whacked off there. There's another one there. There's a double bottom. It's gone up through that kind of resistance and back. It's going to come down to the main support down here. It's going to break just yet. Okay. Close that gap. It's interesting. Okay. It never does, Kevin. The FTSE never moves on the scale that we expect, oddly enough. It never does. It's always, the FTSE's always like this. No matter what you do, what time of the year, when there's a crash, when there isn't a crash, when the world's ending, when the world's going well, the FTSE just goes in a straight line. And then once in a while, it gives a little bit of a bump up or a bump down, and it never really does much. It's not one of my favorite indexes to trade. I must be perfectly honest with you. If you catch it in a range, you can start playing with a range, and you can make some money out of it. But you know, it's almost like Brent crude oil. It sort of sits in that range, but only this is much more flat. It's insanely flat. It's difficult to make money out of the FTSE. I've traded it quite a few times in the past, but it's so slow. And you know, the world's ending, and the FTSE is like, we'll just trickle along here. Not much going on. Whereas the DAX, on the other hand, is like up and down like crazy. That's why you'll find a lot of traders enjoy trading the DAX. DAX is actually quite a popular one to trade. Yeah. No, I've traded it a lot, but it's not my favorite. It's not a great one to trade, and it just doesn't do much. A lot of people that do trade the UK is people that live in the UK because they feel an attachment to it. That's a bit like people who live in South Africa attached to the South African market. People will trade it because they're attached to it, but other than that, it doesn't give great movement. DAX is expensive on IG. It just depends from broker to broker. You get the ones that are expensive and the ones that are not expensive. In general, you know, it depends on your swaps. It depends on your spreads. You know, there's all these different things that you've got to consider with any broker. It's unfortunate if it's expensive because it's a really nice instrument to trade. I've made a lot of money out of the DAX in the past. The DAX has been one of my favorites, I must say. I do enjoy the DAX. You know, Ellie just asked me now, what are your 3 top instruments that you trade? Wow, that changes on a regular basis. It really does change on a regular basis. You know, it just depends what's on the go at any one time. So it's difficult to ask me what's my top 3. But if you were to ask me over the long term, over the many years of trading, which ones I've always gone back to and which ones have always been really the top ones that I've always ended up trading, I'd say more top 5 than top 3, but S&P 500 most definitely, the DAX most definitely, the Euro US dollar most definitely, Brent crude oil most definitely, and of course, last but not least, gold. Gold most definitely. So yeah, but at any given time, for example, it just depends how the market's moving at that time, and if that market is moving, those are trades that I'll end up going back to. So if that helps you, but like I say, don't buy into that because it changes on a regular basis. That is over a bigger picture over a long time. Those are the ones that I always end up gravitating back to, let's say, and getting on with it. Hey, Grizza, welcome back. I tried to trade Meta, and oh my god, it was so expensive, I left it well alone. But that's another thing you might find about trading shares with brokers. On leverage trading, you might find it a little bit expensive as well. You know, they might be a bit more expensive than trading Forex for commodities or indexes and that sort of thing. Sometimes they charge a little bit more, and they just watch out for that. But trading shares is easier. Obviously, it's much easier. It's not difficult. Not difficult at all. Ooh. This is another one that we took out of the game. Luckily, we took a profit on that one. We didn't take a loss. Euro Great British Pound, we were short on it. It was going really well. Poof, there we go. It's gone. We only really took a loss on the 2 trades. It still hurt the account though. The US 500 and the Germany 30. The Euro US dollar profited, and the Euro Great British Pound also profited, but it was on the previous month, I suppose. We'll go through the statement sometime. Brent is really kicking our butt. There we go. I wonder if it's going to go all the way, or if it's going to turn around in support and give us a bit of relief. But when I look at the US 500, you know, you would think that gold and Brent would turn around and go the other way as a safe haven trade. But they tend to follow it. So for whatever reason. And what I saw here, you see there's a kind of a head and shoulders on the S&P 500, which is a bit tricky. I don't see it on Brent, but I did see it on, it wasn't gold. Where did I see that head and shoulders earlier? Might have been the DAX. Yes, it was the DAX. Bit of a head and shoulders developing there. And it was Peter that said to me, did I explain to anyone how the head and shoulders works? And effectively, if you get a head and shoulders, you take the length of the head and you measure it to the downside, and that's where your price should get to at the end of the day. So if you've got that length of head, just take that to the bottom, and that's where your price will get to at the end of the day. Quite easy. Let me just draw it with a pencil. So if that's the length of the head, then it'll give you the same length, and that will be your target down here. Just for info. But only for info, eh? Well, I think Shane says M5 gold is trending down at the moment. I think it's kind of trending down on everything. Where's gold? Gold is trending down on absolutely every time frame. It's falling, man. It's falling. Okay, so it's broken through that level, taking that money. So now we're heading towards the next level, which is 3,000. So you can expect it to get down to 3,000, which is not great for our Brent crude oil, because that will probably follow it and go down the same dirt track, which is not great news. It does tend to be following it. Not great news at all. But that's where we are. Right, so I'm going to take this trend out because it's now completely useless to us, no longer relevant in any sense of the word. Okay. Yeah, well, you know, old habits die hard, Shane. Keep on scalping. Just as long as it doesn't go against you at any time. If you're scalping, try and stay with the trend. You know, just try and stay with which direction it's going in. And then, you know, hopefully it keeps on going that way for you, and then you can get a few points out of it. It'll make you some money. Just remove the greed and FOMO from your trades, and it might be okay. Got a question from one of my friends about an investment. I don't know if you see that come up there. I'll have to answer that a bit later. I put some properties on auction and they're invested in it. Yeah, I'll have a look for them later. Use the turtle strategy. You know, the turtle strategy is a more long-term strategy. It's like the turtles won 20% of their trades. You know that, and they weren't allowed to sell. It's actually not. They don't have a scalping strategy. It was a, you know, they they were probably one of the most profitable group of traders, and they actually only actually won 20% of their trades, but the trades that they won were insanely good, and I'll have to answer that. Sorry, I'm reading a question from a friend who's got an investment going in properties, and they asking me about something. Okay, great. The question is quite relevant. They're asking about the auctions of the properties and what does that mean? And yeah, I'll have to have a look into it and see what it's about, because I honestly don't know. Yeah. I live in South Africa, Ellie. I live in South Africa. Africa is a tough country. Right. Good green candle just appeared on the gold on the 1 minute. The 1 minute, Kevin. The 1 minute. Yeah, okay, look at that. There's like this tail. There's a tail. You know what the tails mean? It means that the buyers are coming back into the market. Why are the buyers coming back into the market? Maybe they're feeling confident. I don't know. I see on Brent there's some buyers sort of creeping back into the market here as well. Maybe it's at a level of support. Maybe they're thinking, ooh, now's the time. Yeah, it's all your job in this market is to look for liquidity. That's it. End of story. Nothing else. You're just looking for liquidity. You're just looking for areas where you think the other traders will be buying. That being the pro traders, the guys out there with huge sums of money. And those are the guys you're looking for. You're looking for that money out there as to, you know, they're all going to sell there, they're all going to buy there, and you just want to ride that wave, man. It's a bit like surfing. You're looking for that wave all the time, and you want to find that wave. If you find the right one, good stuff, man. You can go mad. Easy stuff. So that's what you're looking for here. Now, if you look at this on Brent, if you look at this support level here, that's an area where there's probably a lot of people buying, and there'll be a lot of other traders thinking the same thing. They'll be thinking, well, this is a good level to buy at. And they'll be buying. You don't want to catch a falling knife, but there'll be a few getting in there saying, buy it, buy it, buy it, you know. We all know that Brent crude trades between 70 and 80, so, you know, there'll be a lot in there trying to buy it. But there's a lot of news against it at the moment, and the dollar's affecting it, and, you know, there's all these tariffs and what have you around the world. You know, the tariffs, let's just go and have a look at the news, shall we? Let's just go and check out what's happening on the news, just for interest's sake. Might be a little bit interesting. I just need to put this on the capture so I can find the news, man. Find the news, okay? And if we go and have a look at the news here, and I suppose I must move my picture out the way, because clearly it's going to be in the way. I'll just put it up there. Well, pictures move to the top, guys. Just putting it up there for now quickly so we can have a look at this this news thing here. We can talk about it. But this whole story about tariffs and Trump's tariffs and all the rest of it, and he's all happy about it and what have you. But I wonder if they've realized what the effect of this is, because while it looks good for America, and while he's obviously considering creating manufacturing in America and creating jobs for the American people, and so on and so on and so on, you just have to think for yourself. If you don't live in America, for example, and you live in one of the other countries like I do, and I walk into a shop and there's an American product for sale, like a pair of jeans, and it's $1,000, and I look at a same pair of jeans that's made in another country and it's $200, I'm gonna buy that. That's gonna be a problem for him. That's what tariffs do. Okay, so cars as well. In where I live in South Africa, the Chinese car market has boomed. It's going insane. And I was wondering why. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, why has the Chinese car market become so popular here? What's going on? You know, because it was always German cars and fancy cars and all the rest of it. And now suddenly there's Chinese cars everywhere. And I was wondering why. And I looked into it and I found out there's no tariffs between China and South Africa. I mean, well, they're not paying any import duty. They're landing their cars here with no tax. So in other words, a car that costs R1 million, the equivalent car, Chinese car, costs 350,000. It's hugely cheap. And the only thing going against it is people kind of think that the quality is not the same, whatever. But when you get to the car, everybody's starting to realize they're actually sending some pretty good quality products over. So, stocks nosedive as Trump's punishing tariffs rip through markets. The reason the stocks are nosediving is because people understand what I just said. What I just said is, who's going to buy an American car if it's more expensive than an English car, German car, Chinese car, Japanese car? Who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy clothing from America if it's double the price of everyone else's? Who's going to buy building materials? Who's going to buy steel? Who's going to buy anything from America if it's more expensive than everybody else's? That's why stocks are taking a nosedive. So it may look good on the inside. And obviously, everybody in America will now go and buy American if the price stays reasonable there. And obviously, anything that comes from outside and goes into America will be now expensive. So nobody's going to buy the Chinese cars in America because they're going to be insanely expensive. It's just it boggles the mind how that works, because it's not really going to work out at the end of the day. It's going to be complicated. At best, it's going to be complicated. Just thought I'd bring that up just for a little bit of kind of information. Right, so let's put it back on the charts then, shall we? And what I might do is just move my picture back down out the way here. There we go. Because up there it might be in the way, I don't know. And it's easier to see me because you're used to seeing me over there, then maybe that helps. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that, there's tariffs and things. I mean, I understand where he's coming from and what it's about for his country and his people. But at the end of the day, I just can't see how it's going to work out well. It's like I say, for me, on my side of the world, I'm just going to look at things and say, well, I'm not going to buy that because it's just too expensive. I'll just buy the Chinese one. It's cheaper, whatever. Because this whole, tit for tat tariff thing is just going to get out of hand. It's just going to get worse. I'll have a look at the New Zealand dollar USA in a moment. It's quid pro quo, Rob. Here's Alton to create a fair playing field with the US not being taken for a ride. Also, the US not reliant on imports, and the economy is not dependent on importing like the UK. No, that's the thing, but they might be depending on some exports. See, the imports are not a problem to America. The imports are not a problem at all. This is the picture that most people are not seeing, and this is why markets are going down. You see, imports are not important because you're self-sufficient, as America is self-sufficient, and they've got everything they need, and people will have their own factories and can go buy your own stuff that you might want to export. Now, the tit-for-tat problem here is you've put tariffs on, say, England, Canada, Germany, whatever, South Africa, China, whatever. So what they're going to do is put the same tariffs on you, or they were already there, but they're going to make them more, or whatever the case, right? So when you sort of export your product to them, because you had to make your own products, because exports are good for any country, then it's going to be too expensive on the other side. And what China's doing, very cleverly, be careful of this, is like I said, they're exporting to like South Africa tax-free or tariff-free. So we get the cars really cheap. So they're selling loads of their product to us, not to America. And they're doing that all over the world. So it starts to have a ripple effect somewhere down the line. this will all blow over. Believe me, it'll all blow over. It always does. But all I say is if this goes down the road, it doesn't have a really good ending. It doesn't have a perfect ending. You know, the other countries are not just going to sit there and say, oh, that's okay. America's just doing the right thing and giving us tariffs because we gave that. No, they're not. They're already complaining and saying, we're going to give you more tariffs. And, you know, they're all getting their wick up and all the rest of it. And in an insane way, it's going to backfire. So all I say is I understand exactly what the man is doing. I understand exactly what he's trying to do for his country. He's trying to get it all back to America, and he's trying to get them working and get the factories open again and what have you. And it would be great if the UK could do that as well. You know, they lost the whole motor trade back in the day and what have you, and that was because of unions and what have you. But you know, to get the manufacturing back up and running in your country is a really important thing. But you have to find a balance between that and exporting. You know, you've got to find that balance because you can't just manufacture and then you're sitting with everything. You need to sort of manufacture it and export it. And farming as well. You want to export that stuff, especially food produce, things like that. You want to export it. It's good for business. And if you're not doing that, the country's going to have a problem. You see, the logical thinking of people is, if I'm in government and I'm running a government, I get all my money from the tax, from taxing people. And that's not true. That's not how it works. Because if you have a country, the money that's in the system is from you, the government. You put the money in the system. You feed the money into the system. And then you take some back from the tax system. It's just a way of getting some tax out of maybe farmers creating produce or whatever the case. So, but the money itself, there's a finite amount of money that you put in the system and you take some back. It's senseless at the end of the day. You're not going to make a profit out of taxing your own people. Your profits come from your export and imports and moving things around the world and wheelings and dealings like any normal business, any normal company. So it's very complicated, but you just have to look at it from a logical point of view and say, I can't see an easy ending here. I can't see a good ending here, you know, for this sort of scenario. The 61% tariff rate, yeah, but I mean, South Africa's having a lot of problem at the moment. US is really cutting South Africa off in a lot of different ways because they've got an issue with the way the government is running things, and the government is being racist and what have you. And well, they believe that the government's being racist towards the minorities here, and land grabs and things like that. So they've got a problem with that. That was one of the big issues. I don't want to go into that. And they said they would stop funding to South Africa. That is a big thing. And they also now stopped military assistance and whatever the case. And they're really sort of cutting, let's say, the ANC off the government of the day. We don't all agree with that because, you know, at the end of the day, we do have at the moment a government of national unity. We're trying to unify. We're trying to grow our country, and it's really not helping us much. But yeah, I get it. I get what they're saying, but it's difficult for us. Yeah. Okay. We've got a lot of people that are hungry. Our hospitals are falling apart. Whether that's because we don't have support or whether it's because our government's pocketing all the money, is neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's what's happening. Yes, the DE40 DAX it's the same market. It's the German market. The market's made up of those companies. Now, you know, you get the Germany 30 and the 40, right? But so one's made up of 40 companies, one's made up of 30 companies. Basically, that's why they call them that. But what you have to remember in all of these indexes, even the NASDAQ and Tech 100 and stuff like that, is, like in the Tech 100, for example, in America, they've got the Fantastic Seven, or the, what do you call it? The Wonderful Seven, or whatever the case, yeah. But it's like the top 7 companies that are listed there out of the 100 run the whole market. They're the most important shares. If they move, the whole Tech 100 moves. So that's sort of similar in other markets as well, and the DAX being one of them. So they'll have top companies that will move that market around, and those top companies will be in both, and that's why they tend to move exactly the same way. It's effectively the German market at the end of the day. In South Africa, it's the top 40, South African top 40. And you'll see sometimes they have changes where they change the companies in the index, one or two of the companies. But if a company performs really badly, it gets relegated, and if a company performs really well, it gets promoted into the league. So, anything about sports, I'm just putting it that way. But yeah, that happens from time to time as well. It's a re-indexing that happens quite often on the markets. Magnificent Seven, thank you. I was looking for that word. When you get to my age, you start forgetting words like that. It's Magnificent Seven, thank you. Yeah, it's called the Magnificent Seven. That's it, totally. Thanks. Thank you. But that's totally it, yeah. That's totally it. And it happens in all of the indexes where you get top companies that are pushing the market up and down. And even in the South African top 40, there was one or two. Tencent, for example, was a big one in the South African markets, moved the markets around. It just depends from time to time as well, which one it is and which company it is, and that sort of thing. What will move the markets around at any one given time. So, Kevin and Shane are supposed to be having fun here today. We haven't taken any trades though, have we? And I think I'm holding back at the moment, just looking at things and just checking them out for what they are. Have we got a trade on the euro US dollar yet? No. We've got to wait for this to come all the way back down to here to get a trade. The gold is, right, interesting. Do you see this? Especially, I think Shane is a gold trader. You see how this has come down? Now that yellow line was a major resistance, and it's become a major support. Now, I don't like to have lines in the sand in the market because, as you know, lines are not, people don't see lines. They don't go to exact spots. But sometimes these lines can be pretty good because that area is clearly where there's a lot of money lying around. And I see gold bounced off of that quite solid. So that area is very important. That 3057, seriously important level. And it's just bounced off of that. Now, what that could be as well as a back to retest, but it could also push nicely and start trying to push halfway back up that candle, which would be interesting to see it go back up halfway through that candle. That would be interesting to see if that happens. Probably that time of the day. Brent's trying a similar thing. You see here, it's also strong support level in there. So maybe it's trying to just recover and get back up there. And that would be interesting. As we already own the trade, we wouldn't be really buying it. And I suppose we could add to it, but then it's going to be quite a big trade. We'll see. But yeah, it's looking like it. It's trying. Let's see what it does. It could be faking it at the moment. And there's the US 500 trying a bit of green as well. You see, they're all following each other, which is really interesting. In the old days, we used to say that, if gold was a safe haven trade, but these days gold just tends to follow the market. It's quite crazy, really. If gold is doing, if the S&P is doing well and gold's doing well, it's kind of weird. Now, that's what I was saying earlier, Shane. Everything's overstretched at the moment. So when you were saying, are we going short on anything today? I was like, wait. Because everything's kind of in support. It's kind of hit its levels. Let's just give it time to settle after yesterday's noise. There was a lot of noise. That noise is having an effect on the markets. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people are running. You know what happens here as well, and I've seen this over and over again over the years, is people have been investing in the US 500 market, for example, over the last couple of years, and it's been going up, or maybe the last year, and it's been going up really well. I think it went up now from 3,500 to 6,000 in the last year or two. And the problem with it is you kind of become complacent with that. And in that time, a lot of new traders get on the bandwagon and get involved. And the only thing that you've seen is upside. You haven't seen the downside. And everybody gets complacent with it and just keeps on buying and buying and buying. And it seems quite easy to trade. And, you know, a couple of YouTube videos out there. And look how easy this is. I'll make a profit every 10 minutes and what have you. And then suddenly the tough side of the market comes, like now, and everyone's in shock because they haven't seen it before and they don't know what it's about. Like I said, this last 24 hours, this will blow over very quickly. But the overall period, there's a bit of stickiness at the moment, and it kind of puts people on their back foot if they're used to it always going up, and it can affect things quite a lot. So when people get scared, then what happens? You end up with a lot of downside. You end up with a lot of red candles. You end up with a lot of this selling off. So it goes up and then people sell off, because what that is, for example, let's say it's the S&P 500. Let's say somebody got into this and it went down, and they did the odd average down and dollar cost averaging, and they added to their trade because they wanted to get out. And what actually happens is when it does get up to their cost, or get up to a reasonable level that they can feel comfortable with a loss, then they get out at that level, and then it carries on going down. And that's why you get this up and then all the way down again. There's a lot of that going on, especially with, like I say, traders that have been in for a while and it's always been going up, and now suddenly it's starting to hurt them. Now suddenly they're starting to feel the pain. There's a lot of pain, and they start getting out. It's a psychological thing. They're trying to get out of the market. It goes up a little bit and they quickly grab and they get out. There's a lot of that. Okay. Market turmoil wipes 1 trillion rand off the JSE's value. Kevin says Shane's not so confused today. It's okay. No, we're good. We're having some fun. Okay. Yeah, those headlines, you see those, Rizzo, those headlines are also a big issue in the markets, where they put those headlines out, trillion rand taken off the JSE's value. And you know how many? I've got a lot of shares on the JSE as well, and my portfolio is still doing extremely well. So, you know, you've got to look at the bigger picture here. Trillion rand is trillion rand, but yeah, where was it wiped off and how was it wiped off? Yeah, but also you got to look at, where did it come from? Now, if you go and look at the actual JSE's value and where it is at the moment, I'm just looking on another side here. The JSE is now at 78,992, 986. And the other day it was at 80-odd thousand. Really hasn't gone down that much. So, same as the S&P 500, it was at 6,150, and now it's down at 5,500. Work it out in percentage. It's not that bad. 10% correction. That's all it is. 10% correction. You know, how much is a trillion rand at the end of the day off the markets? So these headlines scare people. They scare People start running in other directions. They start selling all their shares. They start selling all their investments and getting out because the world's ending and everybody's calling for a crash. Yeah, I've seen the crashes. Still here. Okay. James start. No, wasn't it 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday as well? What is it with Australia? Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Shane, it was 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday as well. We were much earlier. It's much later now. It should be like 4 o'clock in the morning there by you. Yeah, I don't know what time it is in Oz at the moment. You guys tell me. But yeah, I suppose it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay. No way you can trade at that time in the morning. Look, there was a time when I used to get up, like I said, I used to get up in the middle of the night and check the prices. Oh, was it last Thursday? I'm missing out. I'm losing my mind here. Yeah, totally. And it's still during the day here for me. So yeah, you can imagine. Maybe it's just when you get older. I don't know. Still early in the day and I'm losing my mind. On Tuesday we start 2000 hours. Oh, okay. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Good. Yeah, fantastic. It's difficult for me to try and get everybody on board around the world at the same time. Like I say, there was a time in my trading career where I'd get up at 2 in the morning just to check the prices. It was insane. I don't do it anymore. These days, I just let things ride and whatever happens, happens. Boom, 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 boom. I don't look at the reports for percentages. I just look at the actual numbers. 6,100 to 5,500. Work out the percentage for yourself. Okay, right. And they always call these different numbers on that. I don't know where they get them actually. I'm glad you're happy to stay up for this. Let me see how late I can keep you up. See how long we can keep you up there. Oh no. Hey, euro, US dollar. What do we got here? Still, once the top though, should come down. Should come down. Gold's going all the way back up again. There she goes. Okay, so that was a fake out, if anything. It's not going anywhere. It's sort of staying above that trend support. And looks like it wants to head on up. Interesting, that. Really interesting. Okay. Would I take a chance on it right now? Probably not. Probably rather wait. Just see what happens. And bad enough we're sitting here in Brent, and Brent's going to go exactly the same way as gold. So if I take a gold trade, we're probably going to end up in the same ship. So let's just leave that as it is, shall we? Let's not mess around with that because we've already whacked the account quite hard this week. So let's try and make it better. Let's try and fix it. Stop messing around. But the DAX looks like a wonderful short, actually. It gets back up to here. But if you take this short, oh yeah, where can it go? There's not much reward. There's a trend support here. And the actual, yeah, no, it's a bit tricky. Maybe we should actually wait for the long trade off of this trend support. Maybe we should wait for the long trade of about 215. Nice long trade. DAX has been good to me long, eh? Maybe we should catch this trade when it gets down here. Nice long trade on the DAX. That will be a goodie. Let's wait for it to get down to this trend support. I think this is going to be a nice long trade around this level here. All the way back up to the top. Yeah, that looks fair. Because it looks like it's going to crumble over and come and hit down here. So that looks fair. Let's look at that. Okay. And Shane's tempted. There we go. Tempted for the gold. you want to go for the gold, go for it. Maybe wait for it to climb out, but it looks good. It looks fair. Looks like it wants to go. Probably give you a good run, but just a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure where we're going at the moment. We've had a bit of an interesting week. And normally when I lose 3 trades in a row, I normally kind of just back off a little bit, just have a look. Yeah. Before we take any big risks. Okay, good. But that's fine. AUD CAD, AUD CAD, AUD CAD is in the middle. It's not doing anything. AUD NZD. Somebody, you mentioned one of the trades. Which one was it earlier on? New Zealand dollar, US dollar. New Zealand dollar, US. Ooh, there it is. Okay. Now, look at that. There's 2 things that can happen here. New Zealand dollar, US dollar is, see how it broke through that support, shot down, made a new level down here. So we know that that's a level. But there's 2 things that can happen here. One is it breaks through and goes back onto the upper side of this, or it breaks off that resistance and drops down. Good chance that it could break off that resistance and drop down. Let's see what happens with New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar. We might get some good trades. Guess what? Just before the weekend. Don't we just hate getting trades before the weekend? Because you put them in, they sit running over the weekend. Might be a bit tricky. But let's see what's going to happen. Okay. Actually, Shane, no, I am actually going to wait because we've had a bit of a tricky week. And the week has been sort of up and down. And we don't really have, even though we trade what we see, we have traded what we see. Every trade we took was a good trade, and they all went against us, which means there's been a bit of iffiness in the market. And so I'm just waiting to see if there's any more before we jump the gun. So I'm waiting for confirmations before we take our next trades. I just want to see some confirmation on a trade. For example, this trade, I want to see a red candle or a green candle out of there. Euro, US dollar, I want to see a retest before I take a long. On the Brent, we're already in here, but I'd like to see the green candle coming out of there. It's just a few trades here. I just want to see something before I take a trade. It's just US dollar, Canadian dollar. That's actually a good short. But here again, okay, there was a retest there, so that's probably a good one. Could have gone short on that. Euro, Great British Pound. Here as well, there's a pincer top. Could go short on that, but is it going to turn around in that direction? US 500, what have we got? Are we going up? Are we going down? Are we going to bounce out of the support? If it breaks through here, we've got another 200 points down, at least. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, Kevin, I don't think we should be sitting here over the weekend with too much. I'm even worried about this Brent crude oil trade sitting over the weekend, but I might risk it because we are kind of on the 69.70 level, which is at the bottom. But I've seen things go pear-shaped with that. Typo for Bollinger Bands. Triple B, eh? Getting sleepy now, Shane. So Shane, do you trade with Bollinger Bands? Do you actually trade with Bollinger Bands? Do you use them? And how do you feel about them? Do they work for you? And I'm not a big fan of Bollinger Bands. You don't seem to get enough range out of them, but yeah. there's so many different systems. Oh, I'll tell you what, so many different systems in the market. It's actually quite insane how many different systems there are in the market at any one time. Sometimes, okay. Because I think, Shane, your favorite is probably Fibonacci. I've seen that. Fibonacci is an excellent system. What I would recommend to you, I don't recommend anything, but what I would do if I was you is I'd stick to the fib. The fib is your best bet. And if you want some confluence or confirmation, use the support and resistance, use the trends. Fib's your best. And if you really want some extra confirmation to confuse the hell out of yourself, maybe throw an RSI or an MACD in or a bit of volume or something like that, just to confirm your trade. But I don't recommend it, because generally when you do that, you find yourself questioning your trade, and then you don't take it, and so on. You've got to be able to take the trades. Every trade you take is 50-50. It doesn't matter how you take it. And if you don't take them, then you don't get that chance to take the trade. So yeah, just choose a system, stick with it. Don't change it every 5 minutes. Stick with it. Run with that system. Use the strategy, use the risk management, and keep the risk the same on every trade, like I always say. Try and make as much profit as possible. And run with it. Run with it. Don't change the system. The systems work. All of the systems work. The fib works. I know it works. I've used it. Trend lines work. The support and resistance works. Even the MACD works. It's just very lagging. You don't get much out of it. But all of these things will work for you. I just don't like putting all these fancy things all over my chart, because I get confused. If you put a million lines on this chart, I get confused. I'm like, I don't know what lines what and which lines which, and it just boggles the mind. And I see a lot of traders put 20 screens up on the wall. I've got 3. That's it. Third 3. And one day I'll clean up here and show you this mess. But really, guys, and all these fancy brackets and goodies and stuff, and yeah, really, why do you need all that? You can actually trade on a laptop. You know that? A small laptop. If I go away, I take my cell phone, I take a laptop. That's it. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. What do I need 20 screens for and 20 pictures up there and whatnot? I used to, even on this, I used to have the situation where you've got all these different charts, like blockies over here, and I'm looking at 9 charts on one screen and 9 charts on the other screen, and I found that was actually worked against me, because I got confused. I wasn't really concentrating on one thing. I was concentrating on 25 other things, and I never really got the trades right, because I was looking at too many different pictures. So I prefer now just to have my favorites on the side and one chart. One chart, maximum 2, one chart preferably. I look at that chart, and if I want to look at another chart, I just go, oh, let's have a look at that chart and see what that's doing. That's it. Then I can see that chart. That's good enough for me. I don't want too many things on my page. I don't want too many charts on my page. I don't want too many lines on my page. It just confuses me. Hey, Grizzo, see you next week. Cheers, bud. See you on Tuesday, hopefully. And hopefully you'll be here. Okay. If you guys want a new video on fib, I'll do it. But rewatch my old one. It's pretty clear. But I don't recommend everybody. Look, guys, just use the support and resistance. You don't have to use fib. Just saying that fib is a fine system to use. I don't use it, so it might confuse you. But I do know how to use it. I do like it. I like it as a system. But and it's great for confluence and all the rest of it. But I just use price action because it's what I see and that's what I'm used to. So maybe I'm old-fashioned. It's what I see and what I'm used to, and what I always see is comfortable with my trading. But yeah, if you want to use fib, it's great. It works well. But go and watch my old fib video. And drive safely, Grizzo, yeah. But like I say, if you want, I'll sometime or another, I'll try and make a new video on fib. Or I'll include it in or something. It's very easy to use and very straightforward, and it plays in really nicely to our support and resistance price action systems. It fits in really well. It sort of slots into place really well, which is why I like it, I suppose, why I'm comfortable with it. Yeah, if you want to use it, it's great. Somebody asked me about Ichimoku the other day, and I used to use that as well. But I can't even remember the names of those things. That's some strange tin can and all that stuff. And I used to use it, but it was also a lagging indicator. And effectively, you've got to be very patient to use that thing. Fib extension and retracements. Actually, Shane should give the course on fib. We'll have Shane give the course on fib. There you go. I'll get him in here and but he's in Australia, so it's a different time zone. We'll have to do it at 1 o'clock in the morning in Australia. Yeah, no, that would be great. That would be interesting. If I ever go to Australia, I'm going to visit Shane. Yeah, certainly. No, but I'll maybe do another video on fib, and I see Shane likes to use the fib extensions as well, and extended sort of targets and what have you. It's great. It's great. It does play well. It does play well. The red candles on the US dollar JPY has been insane with its red candles. Where is it? Boom, 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 boom. I mean, such an easy one to actually trade. If you're looking for a quick scalp, I mean, this would have been the one to take, to be honest with you, because you could have just like quickly taken scalps all the way down, and you could have said, "Oh, look how much money I made." Look, it's yeah, you could have made a lot of money on those. That's insane. But let me just see, where's the levels on this? The level here, the level down here. Yeah, it's heading to the bottom, eh? Yeah, it's on its way. It's on its way. So the levels are quite far down. This could go all the way back down to 140. It actually looks like a heavy knock to the downside. So yeah, that would be a great scalp there for you. It has been bearish for a long time, but for a long time, every time it got to 150, the Japanese government would intervene and stop it from going over, and it would go down again. And then at some stage or another, they allowed it to just go through, and it went up to the 157, 158, 159. And now it's broken back to the downside. So yeah, it's interesting. But it has been bearish for a long time. If I was going to trade this anyway, I'd trade it short. And there's no long in US dollar Japanese yen, that's for sure. And you could probably pick up a reasonable trade out of it if you want to. So when I go to Australia, we're off to Shane's place. Aha! Melbourne, right? Yeah. We're on our way. I must actually start doing that. Start going around the world and doing the trading. It'll be fun. Yeah, certainly. Do a vlog. I'll probably be useless at it. Okay. There's a pincer top there on the Euro US dollar come down. Sydney, sorry man, wrong one. Yeah, okay. Sydney's good. We'll do Sydney. Go to the Sydney Opera House like everyone else does. I'll be a normal tourist. Yeah. I actually got a friend who lives in Melbourne. Okay. Important logical chains, yeah. There we go. Totally. Don't worry, Kevin. Come to Scotland as well. Very important lodging in Scotland. Oh, no. Yeah. Damn, I've got family there. They'll probably kick me out at the airport. They see me coming. They'll probably tell the detectives there, don't let that man in. Keep him out. Send him back to Africa. Yeah. Can you imagine? Insane stuff. Cheap holiday. Yeah. I get cheap holidays, yeah. You know how expensive it is for me to go to the UK or something like that? It's insane. It's crazy. You know, I use the McDonald's, what do they call it? McDonald's leveler, or whatever the case. So if you work out how much a Big Mac costs, I don't eat the stuff, but you work out how much a Big Mac costs, say in America or UK or here, then effectively our money should be 10 Rand to $1, let's say, or close to 10 Rand to £1 even, let's say. But when you take the real exchange rate, I mean, we're at 22 to 1 on the pound. So if I go to the UK, I've effectively divided the value of my money by 2. But then I realized that it's even more than that, because if I buy a fish and chips in South Africa, it'll cost me 89 Rand. And if I buy it in the UK, it'll cost me nearly 200 Rand. So it's kind of bad. It's actually really quite insane. And US as well, similar thing. That's actually a similar thing. So effectively, when we go overseas, we kind of just, the money that we take with us has insanely basically got half its value to buy anything. Imagine that. Just divide your wealth by 2, which is why a lot of my money lies in dollars. In brokers' accounts, unfortunately, but yeah, I do have bank accounts, but yeah, it's crazy. And then I have to fill in all these fancy tax forms and W-bins and all that stuff. It's crazy. Yeah. Or any other time, Kevin. Don't come here, especially in winter or any other time. It's just raining all the time, isn't it? A screenshot of US dollar JPY on the weekly. Oh, there's some messages from Shane here. Gold, oil, US dollar, Japanese yen. I haven't been looking at the email now that you told me to look. Is that the weekly? That's quite interesting, actually. You know, if that's on the weekly on the US dollar, Japanese yen, it's totally in the golden zone. And if that turns green, looking good, eh? For a long trade, not a short trade. That's interesting. But it could, it could always go further, because I do see a level at the 78, that it could reach. And I am thinking of that 142. But yeah, that's an interesting picture, that. Let me see your other emails. Gold. Oh, you sent me Bollinger Bands on gold. Okay, so yeah, it actually did go out. The Bollinger Band came back. It's gonna probably, yeah, okay. That's what it does. So it should go back up on gold. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Looking at all Shane's different systems here. Looking at his pictures. Sorry guys, I'm looking at Shane's pictures here. Oil 78. Oil's really far down, eh? I do think that oil will have to turn around soon. Okay, that's just that. I was looking at that. There we go. Alrighty. Shane, you're still learning, but you've actually got the systems down to a T. What you're still learning is the psychology. That you'll get around. And that's the difficult part. That is the most difficult part to learn. And you don't learn it, you get used to it. Well, you do learn it. But that's going to take you a long time to get your head around. You know, the actual systems, you can learn those. You can learn them on a course. You can learn them really quickly. It's not rocket science to learn the systems. Once you get your head around the systems, it's really all about the psychology, the strategies, and getting your head around the big stuff, you know. It's like I always say, you know, if you go and become an electrician or a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, you don't expect to learn it quickly. You don't expect to learn it in a week. But when we trade, we expect to know everything and be proficient in a day. That's not how it works. You know, you have to do your apprenticeship, you know, your internship or whatever. You have to learn your way through it. And you really have to become kind of thick-skinned and almost become adverse to what you're seeing, you know, especially when you see big red candles going against your green money, and you're like, oh man, you got to get over that. You got to learn to relax and let it go. So that takes time. It's the psychology that you're learning at the end of the day, not so much the actual system. The system, we go over the system on a regular basis, and you're quite proficient at the systems. I can see that with your FIB and your Bollinger Bands and all that stuff. You're quite proficient at that. That's not what's holding you back. You know, what's holding you back is the psychology at the end of the day. That's what holds everyone back. Absolutely everyone gets held back by that. Now, some people will take 6 months to get over that. Some will take 2 years. Some will take 5 years. And unfortunately, some will take 10 years. It just depends on your mindset and how you get around it. And if you realize it, you get the aha, ooh, this is where I got to go with this. That's also a big thing. Yeah. Yeah, it does take a while. And I always say to people, I don't want to, dampen your battery or whatever the case, but yeah, it takes time. You know, you don't get over it quickly. You don't get past it quickly. It's not that easy. Even the most hardened traders will tell you that it takes a bit of time to get over that hurdle of accepting that you're taking losses sometimes and that things aren't going in your favor, and it can be frustrating as well. There's so many things that affect your psychology when you're doing something like this. Frustration is a big one, not just FOMO, frustration. You get so frustrated, you take trades and it goes against you, and the frustration kicks in. That's part of the psychology, patience, waiting for trades to come to you, finding the right trade, and just feeling, that feeling sometimes. Just thinking about this now and all these things that come up. One of the biggest feelings that traders get is, and I hear it all the time because people say it to me all the time in the market, the feeling that someone's watching you trade and that someone's taking out your stop losses, or someone's taking out your orders, or someone's making you lose in the market. I hear it all the time. I get it in the comments. I hear it on videos. I hear it everywhere where, the market, the algorithm's taking me out, or this is watching me, or that's that feeling, that psychological feeling. You see, you have to get past that as well. Nobody's watching you. Nobody knows what you're doing unless you tell them. And believe me, your trade is so small, it won't even really make that much difference. You're just in there with a big pile of other trades. Unless, of course, you're Warren Buffett and you're massive, and that's different. Okay, so yes, trading does make you examine your belief systems. It really does. All part of the journey, and it makes you feel better feeling that way. And everyone's journey is different. That is so true as well. Everyone's journey is different. I mean, if you compare my journey to someone now, it would be completely different because I would have almost taken a completely different route based on the fact that I had different technology alone, everything that was available to me, and how I learned in the markets as well, even the availability of a course or whatever the case in the markets over the years and times and days and what have you, would have been different to what you've got access to now. So yeah, that's totally different ballgame. But yes, what you're learning is psychology, nothing else, nothing more. So guys, I see the viewership has kind of dropped off because a lot of people are crying because they've lost a lot of money this week, and the US 500 has probably knocked them off the pedestal, and so on and so on, and it's been a difficult time. So maybe they don't want to come and watch trading videos. I don't know, but I'm gonna head on my way now, and I'll spot you guys next week. And do come back and watch the other videos, especially tomorrow's video. I have noticed that when the markets are a bit rough, people are a little bit adverse to watching trading videos. I suppose the viewership drops off. You got to get used to it, man. You got to get used to it. Yes, please all do give us a like. And yeah, it's a lonely existence, as you say, Kevin. We do tend to trade alone. Some of the lucky few that have got work in these big companies and what have you get to trade alongside other people, but sometimes that's not so great either. They really do have someone looking over their shoulder, and that can be quite nerve-wracking as well. So sometimes trading on your own can be better and no one's watching you, but it's a lonely existence. Nobody's watching you. You're on your own. The buck stops here, as I call it. The buck stops with you. So guys, I'm going to be on my way. I'm going to say thanks very much for being here. Cheers, Aussie Trev. I hope you all did like and subscribe. I always forget to ask. And I'm going to type thank you to all of you here. And I will see you guys through the window. Don't forget, keep your feet on the ground and reach for the sky. Sky's the limit, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't panic with us. It'll all blow over and everything will be back to normal again. Maybe just sit back, let the weekend come in, and we'll take some more trades next week. Guys, thanks for watching. And I will chat to you guys very, very soon. And I'll see you through the window.